Hello everyone, it's Rachel again, here to present you with part 2 of our virtual tour of Willa Cather's childhood home. And when we last left off, we were in the dining room, and today we're going to begin in Grandma Rachel's bedroom, which is this strangely situated room between the kitchen and the dining room. Connects to the bedroom that was used as a nursery for the youngest Cather children. And you can see it doesn't have a lot of privacy. That's the entryway to the dining room. Grandma Rachel was married at 14, widowed at 38, and had 5 children. She was already living with the Cathers at the time of their move to Nebraska. She was very active in helping with the children in the family. Willa Cather was actually born in Rachel Boak's home. And much of Willa Cather's early schooling was done by Rachel. Cather didn't attend a public school until she went to the New Virginia School in Webster County when her family first arrived and lived with her paternal grandparents. Cather enjoyed doing a lot of reading with Rachel. They enjoyed reading Pilgrim's Progress, the Bible, and Robin Hood. Rachel lived with the family for about 10 years in Nebraska before her death, and she's buried in the Red Cloud Cemetery next to some other family members, some of Cather's siblings. As far as items in here that belong to Rachel, there are several. First, the sewing table back here in the corner belonged to Rachel's mother, and Rachel brought this on the train from Virginia. We also have Rachel's rocking chair. And you can see her boots by the bed and her sewing basket. She was a very petite woman. Rachel is the prototype for a couple of Cather characters in Cather works. Most notably, she is the inspiration for the title character in Cather's short story, Old Mrs. Harris. And again, this room is described in that story. And she's also the inspiration for Rachel Blake in Sapphira and the Slave Girl, which was Cather's only novel set in Virginia. Next, we'll make our way into the family's kitchen. You can see this hutch here had the Cather's everyday dishes in it. Over here is a large stove, not the original stove, but very similar to what the Cathers would have used. And when it was very cold, the children that slept in the attic would heat up irons or bricks and take them to put them at the foot of their beds. You can see here there's some other Cather pieces in the kitchen. These 2 jars of fruit. One is spiced prunes and the other is spiced cantaloupe. And then there are some little bits and bobs from the Cather's kitchen, these spice tins on the hutch, as well as the coffee maker. The coffee grinder. And over here, we have this little gas stove that is similar to what the Cathers would have used in summer months, cooking outside. And Willa Cather liked to tell a story about their gas stove. One summer it exploded, and as she became more famous and gave more interviews, Cather would sometimes explain that the imaginary town that the children had constructed in their backyard, known as Sandy Point, that their fire department helped put out the fire. We've never been able to verify that this is actually true, but Sandy Point had quite a setup. Willa Cather was elected the mayor, and Sandy Point was constructed using old boxes and sand from their father's sand pile. The town had a candy shop, and it even had a hotel constructed out of an old piano box. The kitchen would have been where their hired girl, Margie Anderson, spent a lot of her time. Margie was one of 15 children in her family, and she was working for the Cathers at the time of their move, so she was already working for them in Virginia. And she joined them on their trek to Nebraska and worked for the family the rest of her life. She's actually buried in the Red Cloud Cemetery next to Rachel, Grandma Rachel. And she is also the prototype for the character Mahaley in Cather's Pulitzer Prize winning novel, One of Ours. Now we'll make our way up to the attic. Of course, if you were with me, I would tell you at this moment to watch your step. The stairs are steep. The first place where I'll stop is this little landing area up here. And this is where Margie would have slept, in this little area. And then up these remaining stairs is where the Cather children, the oldest Cather children, would have slept. There's 3 beds, sitting dormitory style. And these are Cather family quilts. You can see there's this unique slanted chimney in the attic. I believe that there's a letter that Cather describes this chimney in the letter. And then through here, we have Willa Cather's room. So she was the only child to have her own room, and I mentioned in the last video she was the firstborn child. Her father enclosed this room a couple of years after they moved into the house. And she remembers it very fondly in her novel, The Song of the Lark. Taya Kronberg's bedroom is modeled after this room. And she writes that it was a rose-papered bower where she could read, write, and dream in peace. You can see this little case has Cather's seashell collection inside of it. But the feature of this room that is perhaps the most special, and as you can see, the most in need of some TLC, is the wallpaper. Some people may not know that Willa Cather didn't always want to be a writer. When she was a child, she wanted to be a doctor. And in pursuit of that dream, she, as a girl, worked at the local pharmacy for Dr. Cook. And sometimes Dr. Cook would pay her in merchandise instead of money. And the wallpaper is an instance of that. Cather hung this wallpaper herself. And we were very fortunate that when the house was turned into apartments, the attic was not used. It was sealed off. So when Mildred Bennett acquired the home, she discovered that Cather's room had been left alone, as had the wallpaper. So it's a really beautiful sort of remnant of Cather's childhood here. And on that note, we've reached the end of our virtual tour. Again, my name is Rachel Olson. I'm the Education Coordinator at the National Willa Cather Center. And if you are interested in the preservation of sites such as these, please go to www.willacather.org to find out more information on how you can support us. Our next tour stop will be the Burlington Depot, so stay tuned for our second building tour. Thanks so much.